So here we have the GHK Glock 17. Here I have the gas Glock, here I have an HPA tapped one. Definitely more kick, so temperature plays a difference. Obviously it's a gas pistol. Right. Okay, let's do the talking. Alright guys, I am at the border war Milsim in Czech Republic. Tried to get away from the tents as much as I could because I have the GHK Glock 17 here. Not only that, I actually have two of them and I spent some time with them. I shot them a lot and I have some opinions which I would like to share with you. So first let's talk about the externals. GHK really tried to do something different here on the inside and a little bit on the outside as well. It is probably the most true replica when it comes to realism. It has proper size. Here I have the Black Hawk original holster. Fits nicely inside, doesn't wobble at all. So the size and everything, it feels good. It is the closest to the real steel counterpart as you can get within airsoft. All right, the slide is nice, heavy. It has a good finish. You are paying quite a bit of money, so it better have that. It's really nice. The barrel, good material, good finish, the grip. When I look down the sides, I would have a hard time distinguishing if this is a real firearm or not. The only thing that can give it away, even with the magazine, is the weight, because it is more lightweight. The magazines are actually not your typical pot metal heavy magazines. They are surprisingly lightweight. It's not as lightweight as a real steel magazine, but it is quite a bit more lightweight than your typical magazines. That would be for the externals. It is just a Glock. One little thing, one little issue that I have is they picked the Gen 3 grip and variant. Gen 3 is quite outdated. You have Gen 5s now. It still has grooves. I see this a lot in the dry fire application. You know, you want to train for cheap. This is pretty good option to get, and it's a Gen 3. Chances are, if you are a real steel shooter, you are not picking up a Gen 3 Glock. Maybe you still have it, but there will be less and less Gen 3s, and this is Gen 3. I don't think they will change the mold for it anytime soon, so you are stuck on outdated variant. All the ergonomics and everything is still there, but I know some people really don't like grooves for the fingers, for example. That might be a turn-off right there. All right, when you shoot it the first time, it surprisingly kicks. It's a very strong kicking pistol. That has something to do with the weight of the slide and also the internal mechanism. They used a really beefy nozzle, kind of like a rifle nozzle. So when you shoot it, definitely it's there. This is probably the most realistic Glock experience when I'm shooting that I have. All right, as for the build quality, it sounds nice, it's built well, no issues. GHK, good job on the build quality, definitely. When it comes to the shooting experience, like I said, you will be positively surprised that it kicks a lot. The kick is nice, not like a real firearm obviously, but it is really strong kicking firearm. As for the accuracy, the hop-up consistency is there. It is nice and consistent. The BB always flies straight. Accuracy, consistency for a pistol, no complaints whatsoever. When it comes to the hop-up adjustment, that's the funny part. I would classify this as non-adjustable in the game or in high grass, because if you try to adjust the hop-up, there will be pieces falling apart. And there is your hop-up adjustment right here. These two, you will lose them in the field if you try to do it too often. That's one of the big issues that I have with this particular pistol. They went with probably a good system. The guy who owns this Glock told me it doesn't really adjust itself, it doesn't decrease the hop up over time, anything like that. So if you just want to set it and forget about it, good. If you want, you know, precise adjustments, depending on the weather conditions, the temperature, for example, you will have a hard time and you will probably lose some pieces. Nevertheless, it shoots good. The guy is using .28 BBs. I use .28s, perfectly fine. I didn't try heavier BBs because I have a limited time with it, and the hop-up adjustment isn't really. When it comes to the trigger, this gun has been modified, because the trigger out of the box sucks. It sucks. This gun has not been modified. Let's talk about the trigger. No magazine. It's really, really heavy when you get to the wall. So I'm gonna try to stay in the frame as well so you can see. It's really, at this point, it's way harder than the real steel Glock. And now it breaks. Reset. That was the reset, I guess. Yeah, that was the reset. So the reset is almost not there, which I'm a big fan of good tactile reset, and this doesn't have it. So all the realism that is there, it's not there when it comes to the trigger. It's much heavier. You can argue it's good for training, you get used to heavier trigger, and then when you take your real steel Glock or anything else, really, you will be like, man, that's a lightweight trigger because this one is so heavy. I am at home just editing the video, and out of curiosity, I wanted to confirm my feelings. So I took two of my real steel Glocks, compared the trigger, and yep, the GHK is simply not the best. It's way heavier, it's way harder to pull, not as smooth. So it cannot be compared to real steel Glocks in any way, shape or form, in my opinion. I really didn't like it at first. I had actually a really hard time hitting a target with it because it's just, my finger is not used to it. I got used to it. After a couple of magazines, you can get used to it, and I got fast over a short period of time. Even when I don't have the reset, I can pull the trigger fast. I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that I'm shooting real steel Glocks and I know how far and all that. Be aware that the trigger sucks. Like, if you complain, if you are the type of person who complains about airsoft triggers that they are too heavy, this is way heavier. Side picture, just like a real Glock, so if you are used to Glocks, I like that. It's nice and bright. In some cases you get kind of like yellowish color here. No, this is a proper replica from the outside. I do like that. When it comes to the system inside, I cannot talk about durability really, because I just haven't used it extensively. But everything seems beefy. I think it's alright. Let's take a look on the inside. As you can see, it looks completely different to a normal airsoft Glock. It's actually more reminiscent of a real steel Glock in a way. Everything is stiff. I'm sure if you want to do some job on it, you can find surfaces to polish and you can make it quite a bit better. Hop-up adjustment. I should probably do it on the table because there is grass and you would lose these two things. It already actually happened to us, so I'm gonna do that separately. Extractor is actually not moving. There is no reason for it to... Oh, it actually moves. Okay, it's not just a molded part. So they really went with the realism. I do like that a lot. What do I think about this particular pistol? It is a great replica. The trigger sucks. It is accurate and it's a new system. It's innovative. I guess only time will tell how reliable these are. GHK, generally speaking, is a good gas blowback brand. The magazines are cool and bad at the same time, depending how you look at it. They are lightweight. They are way more lightweight than your general metal gas blowback magazines, because I believe this is aluminum. It has to be. It's more lightweight. They went again with the realism. Looks nice. However, as you can see, you cannot see the BBs inside because there is no hole, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing. You can say it protects the BBs from dust and dirt. You cannot see how much is inside, and that also means you cannot pull down the follower and kind of just load it like your typical magazine. So you are stuck with loading it, with actually using your finger to push the BBs down and loading it one by one, unless you have the adapter, which is another piece you have to carry around, which will get lost and you will be stuck with your fingers anyway. So now I just counted how many BBs I can put in the magazine. I can put 17, and this one is the 18 BB, which doesn't want to go any further even when I push it. So you can fit 18 BBs, but don't try to do that, because this one doesn't let the follower go down when the gun reloads. So 18 is only when you have the slide back, put it in, and now you can load it. If you would have it closed, the slide, you put it in, and now you try to rack it, it's probably not gonna be nice for the internals, because the BBs will not drop for the nozzle. I believe they have a counterbalanced or semi-counterbalanced valve. That's what GHK does. It's very easy to push, so it will open even stronger gases. That's all cool. Other than that, it's your typical magazine. When you want to charge it with gas, also, they went with the realism a little bit too far, in my opinion. You actually have to push this, and then you can open it. So let me just do that real quick. You have to push this pin, and now you will see that it opens like this, and you can charge it with gas. Then you have to close it again. If you have a bottle, I actually did it with the nozzle, and then it's not a problem. I guess that solves it, because when you are charging, you always have something pointy to push, so I guess that's all right. It's just not as accessible. If you want to HPA tap it, you have to drill a hole. This is a WE HPA thingy, and you can just screw it in there. The owner told me it fits without any modifications, so you just have to drill a hole in the base plate. Overall, the pistol shoots great. I am curious. I can imagine myself training with this. I can imagine going to an actual range and using this as a low-cost dry fire practice. It is very realistic. Even the loading is very realistic, because you kind of have to, do this. Yeah, I would say good job, except the trigger. The trigger is really tough. But you get used to heavy triggers, and then you will never ever have a problem with heavy triggers. So, of course, some people also care about the markings. Yes, this one is fully marked. It's just like the real replica. I believe there is very little difference, if any. It has the official logo right there. So when you care about markings, this one will tick the box. That's my opinion about this piece. Price, that's a different discussion. It is not a cheap pistol per se, so depends what you want. I forgot one point, and that is the magazines, the typical ones from WE, J-Works. They are not compatible. You can put them in, but the slide will not close all the way, so you cannot use these magazines, unfortunately. And these magazines are expensive, the GHK. Seems like they are good magazines, so they should last quite a bit.